Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 10 French Premium Destroyer Marceau. Matchmaking, well, it could certainly be better. It's all Tier 10. There is a sprinkling, we'll call it a sprinkling of radar. Got Des Moines and Petropavlosk to contend with. And there's also a Hakuryu on the other team, which means there will be aircraft in the air. So, what to do? Well, I've got Shima on this side. I have to count on Shima to help contest the cap. Well, we'll see how that turns out. So what are the strengths of the Marceau? Well, we'll start with the guns. The guns are 127s. You got a total of 8 barrels, 2 in each of 4 turrets, which you can see there. Reload time, 3.5 seconds base. Max dispersion, 101 meters. HE shells do a maximum damage of 1850 with a 7% fire chance. AP shells do a maximum of 2450. And they've got decent punch if you're in fairly close. I'm going to take just a second here and address the UI bug that was introduced with update 10.5. Give you a little bit more information. And I'm kind of forced to run for my life here. You can see I ran back toward Hindi trying to help myself by allowing his AA to help me out a little bit. So what did I do here? Well, you know, it's easy to say, well, you ran. Well, okay, well, I did. But I also drew the aircraft away from our Shima. I could have run back toward Goliath, Slava, Yamato. Instead, I ran this way, trying to open the door for our Shima to get in and contest the Alpha Cap. Since I'm here, and Gearing was last seen here, I'm going to see what I can do at Bravo. AA is working on those torpedoes. Will Gearing fire at me? Not torpedoes, torpedo bombers, excuse me. Now this ship is fairly nimble. It's not, you know, incredibly nimble, but fairly, and you can juke some shells if they're coming from long range, like I did there with the throttle. Torpedoes on this ship. Well, you got 4 racks, 3 torpedoes per rack. Reload time is a very long 142 seconds. These torpedoes do 14,833 damage, run at 60 knots, and have a 9-kilometer range. Now, I'm a little surprised nothing is contesting this so far. See some torpedoes there, just inch by. Can't forget where the Gearing was last seen. And I'm going to make use of this island here in case I do get detected. Make sure Goliath can't splatter me. If I back up enough here, I'll be able to get out of the way of Montana should I get detected. AA, well, it's nothing to speak of. You've got defensive fire, but you know, what does that really do anyway? Max speed, well, base speed on this thing is 44 knots. You can increase that with the signal. Turning circle radius 740 meters, so not great, but rudder shift time is a pretty decent 4.8 seconds. Base detectability by sea 8.88 kilometers and by air 4.84 kilometers. Now you can of course make that better, and I have. You can see my base detection by sea right now is 7.8 kilometers. You can see that on the minimap. Threw all the torpedoes out there at Montana, but to no avail. But I was able to secure the Bravo cap. Will I maybe catch him with one of that second set? Maybe. See if I can get him burning. If I can, any repairs. And I do manage to hit him with one torp. And he did well, no. Is he still burning or sinking? Now he's repaired the flooding damage. So if I can get a fire here. But as you can see, these shells are incredibly floaty. So I'm firing at something 12 kilometers away, and it's taken that long. It's taken 12 seconds for the shells to get there. So, you know, if you're firing over islands and you want to shoot things that are, you know, detected by others on your team, well, these shells are pretty nice. But once you get this kind of range, it's difficult to even hit a Montana. I guess that's really all you need to say once you get out toward max range. Now the base range on these guns is only 11.5 kilometers. There's the gearing. I'm going to do what I can with the gearing while I can see them. You can see my range is 13.8 kilometers. Well, I've done that with commander skills, of course, but it does make for some very, very floaty arcs. Turned in to get under those. And I'm going to try and just basically run down this gearing. It's got torpedoes headed this way. See if I can't thread this needle. Gotta be careful here. There are a lot of red ships. I may not get a chance to get guns on them. If I get to within... So Yoshino on the back line firing 20-kilometer torps. Gosh, what a surprise. And as much as I hate that they got rid of friendly fire damage, I suppose for guys like that, it worked out all right. Okay, so there's the gearing. It's fully visible to me. Until right around the time that I fire. And then he goes dark, so I'm going to have to move out of the way before I get beat up here. I know he's really close. Just have to outrun these torps, which, if you're going to ever do it, doing it on one of these French destroyers is the way to do it. I've got aircraft here. I've got to try and avoid getting detected, but nope. I run just outside of the smoke, and Yamato detects me. And that was a silly use of the torpedoes, given that the Petro's on the other side of the island, but trying to pay attention to too many things at once. And I am radared. Got a couple of Yamatos. There's a Shima out there. Got to just do what I can to avoid getting blapped. Can I stay in the cap? I can, and I do get out of sight. Yeah, if you've been paying attention, we've got one gearing is gone, and that's it. Let's see if I can get this Yamato burning. 14 seconds, and I'll have this cap. Got Kurfürst in here helping. Do manage to pick up a fire. See how long I can let that burn. There's another fire. So, there was another Yamato out here. And I'm guessing he's pushed south around the outer edge of that island. I managed to burn this guy down. Now, on the other side of the map, our Shima did secure the Alpha cap. We've still got a hold of the Bravo cap. There's a Shima out here, you know, that's basically dancing with our Shima on this side. And I think that Yamato is probably just pushing and is about to come around this corner. That's why I'm running this way. Our Shima can only handle so much. And I'm just about where I'm going to be out of range of that radar, at least for the time being. So I can get a fire going. There's the Yamato. You can see it on the mini-map. Our Shima, well, he tried. Now I know that the Yamato's got a reload period, and he just blapped our Shimakaze. So I know I've got at least a little bit of time where I only have to deal with his secondary. So I'm going to run around the far side here, drop torps into his side, and then I'll turn and use the torps on the other side. Because with 80,000 damage and a decent torpedo belt, these first two sets are not going to do the job. Turn, turn, turn. There you go. And that should do it. Now we've still got the Petro out here, but I'm out of radar range. The Yamato's about to sink. Down he goes. Okay, so what to do, what to do? Well, we're down 3 ships, bad guys are down 5, and there's a Petro back here with 8,800 and dropping. They lose Yamato, Montana, and Colombo all kind of in short order. So they're down 6 ships. We're only down 3. Now this is a really, really bad matchup to push into a Petro. But you can see that our Kurfürst is running away from the Petro. And his secondaries aren't going to be able to do anything for much longer. His main guns aren't going to be able to do anything if he keeps pushing south. He'll be behind an island. And I'm a little concerned by what I've been seeing from the team over here, so I decide, since Petro's guns are pointed the other way, I'm going to do what I can. Now, Petro it's come on, it's ridiculously overpowered. I don't know anybody who is honest about this game who would not agree with that. And he's probably going to finish me here. It's just a question of, can I finish him at the same time? He's got another fire. And I think I'm going to get him, but I'm afraid he's going to get me too. And he does, but he's burning, and I do manage to burn him down. So, why highlight this particular match? Well, because Marceau has, again, one of its strengths is its speed. It can move very quickly. I was able to push in really fast on that Yamato, land a bunch of torpedoes and finish him off, and then rush at what is arguably the most ridiculously overpowered tech tree ship in the game ever. And that's in part because of the speed of the ship, but also in part because the guns are pretty good on this ship. Now, yes, I got sunk, and yes, you can see that my team is just well, they're doing all they can to self-destruct. But I feel like, okay, I tanked over 1 million potential damage, which you can see in the upper right there. Finished the game with 3 ships sunk, 148,000 plus damage. Secured a cap, 11 torpedo hits, 198 shells on target, 3 floods, an incapacitation, 4 fires, a cap assist. I feel like I contributed. And sometimes, although the majority of the time I won't do this, even if opportunity presents itself, sometimes it does make sense to push in and risk your ship. Now you can see the bad guys now have a ship advantage because our remaining Shima pushed in so close. But Yoshino finishes off the Goliath, and so each team now still with 4, and then Goliath finishes off the Shima, and now they're down to 3. So it's looking like we probably have this game in the bag. But, there are never any guarantees. But again, why am I showing you this game? Because I feel like sometimes it does make sense to risk your ship and maybe even lose your ship if what you're doing is tactically, looking at the whole game, a decent trade. If you're giving your ship away, what are you trading it for? Well, I traded a Marceau that was really banged up for a Petro. Again, arguably the most ridiculously overpowered tech tree ship in the game ever. I think that's a good trade. We've still got our CV in the game, still got a Hindi in the game, we've still got Yoshino in the game. I think we can still win this, and in fact, we do. But but I didn't get to be a part of the ending other than just as a casual observer. And here in a minute, I did after I got sunk. I think I took a phone call, but I do come back here in a minute. I get back in and I'm kind of watching what's going on. But again, I wanted to highlight sometimes if you're trading your ship for what I would consider, if you're making a good trade, sometimes it makes sense. And you never know, when you're not in the game, and this is why I rarely will do this or rarely feel like it's a good trade. If you're not in the game, you can't contribute anymore. Everything you've done is all you're going to be able to do. And I like to be able to be in the game as long as possible when it's close, to feel like I can help tip the balance, toward my team. But here, with the opportunity to take out a Petro, I just had to seize it. And to be able to rush down and sink a Yamato with torps, that's fun. Anyway, I won't bore you by making you sit through the rest of this. I'll just say I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.